Hi, I'm the Warrior Witch and you can call me Nike. So I'm trying something a little bit different, as in like with the content and stuff. So if this is a kind of video that you guys want more of in the future, or if there's things you'd want to add to it to make it just a little bit better, let me know. But I figured it was time that I start incorporating more of the astrology stuff, and I know that people like to do stuff with the moon, so I thought it'd be a good idea to talk to you guys about what I see coming for the upcoming moon phases, the lunations, the new and the full moon, every month. Maybe I'll do it every month. I'm test running it, so if you guys like it, I know it sounds really cliche, but like, thumbs up, comments, you know, interacting with it. If I see that the video does well, I will do my best to do more of this in the future. But, you know, we should get right into it, shouldn't we? I will be, hold on, reading some stuff from my laptop because it requires a lot of notes. So I'm gonna do my best to have the images up so you guys can see what I'm looking at, and I will have more like cropped in bits to show exactly what I'm looking at when I reference certain points. So all the images will be in this space here, which is why I'm shifted over a little bit, as I often am when I know I'm gonna include a lot of graphics. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna be starting with the new moon, and then we'll move into the full moon after that, and then I'll give sort of a real fast and dirty summary at the end. Sound good? You can't respond, but sure. This here is the chart for the new moon, and it will be exact on April 11th at 10:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The chart I'm using is for New York City, just a easy, basic one to go with. Certain things are going to be just slightly different depending on where you're at, and of course you should always go for your time zone. So if you want to see what the chart is exactly for you, you're going to have to go to places like astro.com to calculate, but this is the chart I'm using. We'll start with the actual moon itself and some of the things going on with that. So this is an Aries moon. It's great for an initial push to start something new because it's in Aries, it's cardinal fire. Aries cardinal fire being sort of that initial spark to anything you're looking to go forward with. It's that first initial push into everything. Symbolically, it's the first sign in zodiacal order. It's just pure raw beginnings. The sun is also exalted here, and what makes a new moon is when the sun and moon are exactly together. So this is a great place for the sun to be. It gives a little bit of a boost to everything that's around it. Venus and Mercury are also what is called under the beams. So that's if a planet is within 15 degrees on either side of the sun, and it makes their dealings, it makes their correspondences, their realms more behind the scenes. Being under the beams is literally, you can't see it because of how bright the sun is. So what they are related to becomes, rather than being out in the center stage, it's more behind the scenes tech crew kind of stuff. Speaking of Mercury, Mercury and Mars are exchanging signs, so Mercury is in Mars's sign and Mars is in Mercury's sign, meaning that they are in mutual reception. Now, they are not configured by degree, so they are sextiled signs, but they are not sextile by degree, so their degrees don't match up. So it's a little bit weaker. It'd be stronger if they were exact by degree, but it's close enough. And them being in each other's signs, them having this mutual reception, means that they are able to give each other assistance where they are. So it's sort of like a trading spaces kind of deal. They're in each other's houses, or, you know, like borrowing somebody's clothes. You're able to help each other out and give each other sort of a roadmap of where you need to go and how you need to operate. It's good, strong connection between the two of them. I think that the Mars and Gemini, Mercury and Aries makes for maybe some witty banter and a sharp tongue. If you need to use sort of the silver tongue approach, you might be a little bit more blunt than you expect. Maybe be a little bit careful with your words around this time. Mercury won't stay in Aries for very long, so while it's there, just keep an eye out, and once it moves out, you shouldn't have to worry too much. The emphasis here is on the cardinal fire of Aries and the mutable air of Gemini, so on top of being careful with your words, I would add that you should carefully consider what you do before you act. Try to put as much thought into your actions before actually acting on them, because there is a little bit of a tendency to just jump straight into it, you know, act before you think, just sort of the act now, think later kind of vibes. So try to do your best to sort of keep on top of yourself. It's really easy to just want to go with Gemini and Aries energy, so if you can, try to reel it back just a little bit. The next thing I see has to do with Venus. So Venus is sextile to Mars in the superior position, and Pluto in Capricorn is squaring Venus in Aries. So, in addition to being under the beams and these things all generally being a little bit more behind the scenes, Mars is also receiving Venus. So Venus is in Mars's sign and they are configured so it's able to see her and it is able to at least offer a little bit of assistance. It's sort of offering a roadmap. Still, in general, Venus is also exiled. So she's the exact opposite place of where she wants to be. Her home across the road in Libra is where she wants to be. She wants to be at home in Libra or Taurus. And so when she is in the opposite position straight across, it's her least favorite place to be. So I would kind of avoid Venusian topics for a while, at least until she moves out, because the next sign she'll move into is Taurus. So if you can wait on things for just a little while, just a couple of days, I would recommend that. Things that I would sort of avoid in terms of Venusian topics would be haircuts, big purchases, trying to do anything related to like your looks or maybe like rearranging your house. It might be best to just wait until the 14th when she does finally move into Taurus. It'll be a better time for all of that. If you've got any like contracts you're trying to sign, or you're about to make a big purchase on like a car or some furniture or whatever, try to see if you can wait off a few days, just until the 14th. It should only be 3 days. Pluto is also squaring Venus, Pluto being the planet of extremes, so it's in a tense position with her, it's in the superior position with her, so all of her themes just become a lot more extreme. And with her being in exile, with her not really being her happiest, with her being under the beams, I would really just recommend even stronger just to avoid it for a little bit. She'll move out of that square very quickly, but on this day in particular, any Venusian themes try to avoid, especially if you're trying to manifest with the new moon. Set it aside for just a day or two when she's moved out of that exact degree with Pluto. And since the new moon and the energy that you might want for new beginnings goes into the next day, and you can use some of the waxing energy as well, as the moon phase moves on, I would recommend, if you can, try using the energy in the following days rather than this exact day if it is for Venus-specific things. Especially when you combine some of this with the Mercury-Mars exchange, it's a lot tougher for Venus's themes to shine through, and your good intentions on whatever you're trying to act on may come out a little bit poorly. So take a leaf out of Mercury's book and just be really tactful with everything you do and everything you say. The last thing I see coming up with the new moon revolves around Jupiter. So we have Jupiter in Aquarius, trining Mars in Gemini, and sextiling Venus in Aries, which then makes that sextile with Mars in Gemini. Jupiter is able to lend a little bit of help. It is in Aquarius, and the domicile ruler, Saturn, of Aquarius is in Aquarius with Jupiter, so Jupiter is able to get a little bit of that extra help. It's not a poor place for Jupiter to be, so generally Jupiter gets a couple bonus points for having the domicile ruler with it. Jupiter's also in the superior position of the trine, meaning earlier in zodiacal order, so as it trines with Mars and sextiles Venus, it is able to add a little bit of help, a little bit of guidance, sort of the mentor figure in a way. So it's able to lend a little bit of that wisdom. So if you do need to go forward with any of these Venusian themes, try to tap into that Jupiterian energy, try to tap into that inner wisdom to really find the best way to go about it. While I might not suggest finalizing things like a purchase or a deal, a contract, anything like that, it could be a good time to negotiate it. I think that the witty tongue of Mercury and having Jupiter be involved, it could be a great time to sort of get that last push to get a better deal for yourself, as long as you're going, again, carefully and tactfully. So as a general new moon summary, we have the Aries new moon presenting opportunities to get new projects, new goals, new intentions, moving along with the spark of cardinal fire. And if you have something big to finalize, especially as it relates to a large purchase or a big financial decision of any kind, try to wait until the evening of the 14th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. New York time is going to be when Venus moves into Taurus, so if you can, try to wait until then. And when she's there, the moon will also be there with her, exalted in Taurus. So I think that'd be a better day if you want to work on manifesting something new, new beginnings, especially in Venusian themes. That'd be the day to go for. Moving on to the full moon. So this is the full moon chart, again, for New York City, and it will be exact on April 26th at 11:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now this full moon is really interesting. So we talked before about mutual reception, having two planets swapping signs and being configured by an aspect, so trine, sextile, square, etc. So for this one, we have the moon, which is fallen in Scorpio, and Mars, which is fallen in Cancer, close enough by degree to have a mutual reception through a trine. Normally, you want your degrees to be within about 3, but the moon is one of those different ones where you have a 13-degree range. So the moon being at 7 degrees Scorpio and Mars being at 2 degrees Cancer still makes them configured by a trine by degree, which is great because not only are they exchanging signs, but they're also in a beneficial aspect. Trines are very beneficial, so they're able to not only help each other by talking about how to use their spaces best, but they're also able to work together in a harmonious way. In my practice, I view the full moon as sort of the culmination. So when I want to start something, I use the new or the waxing moon energies, and then the full moon is sort of the height, the peak of the energy, the highest point of the entire cycle. And so that's when things are the most intense, and then they begin to wrap up afterwards. So this is like that final big culmination of all the efforts you put in starting at the new moon. With the height falling in Scorpio and with the mutual reception with Mars and Cancer, I see a strong focus on Cancerian natures working together with Scorpio natures. It's a lot of water energy, things that are very, very personal, things that you have worked hard to nurture and bring to fruition up until this point. Scorpio is also a fixed water sign, so it's something that will keep things flowing like a river with a strong current. With that being the case, it would work well to use the energy of the Scorpio full moon to give a solid push to the things that you started on the Aries new moon. Go with the current. If something is starting to go a little bit oddly, try not to push against it too much, try to just go with it, because that current is really strongly already in motion and that Scorpio energy just wants to keep with it, wants to keep going really solidly. So try not to diverge too much, stick with that which you started. Scorpio also has a tendency towards obsession. They really want to get deep into the heart of the matter and they don't really want to diverge too much. So if you can, don't get lost in the obsession, of course, but try to allow that obsession, that tendency to really want to stick with it really hard and devote all your time and energy into something to help you to get deep into whatever it is that you need focusing on. If your project has really come along and you're starting to get deep into the planning stages, or you're starting to get really into the actual work behind it, allow yourself to get deep with it. Spend a whole day, if you have the availability, working on just this. And the final thing I see with the full moon is Venus in domicile in Taurus, and it is conjunct with Mercury. It's actually very, very close. They're only 1 degree apart at the time of the full moon. And as the ruling sign of Taurus is at home, Venus, she can give help to any of the planets there, which includes the Sun and Uranus as well as Mercury. She plays a gracious host and helps them along. Venus and Mercury together have a strong connection to the arts, especially things like writing and singing. So if that's something that you wanted to focus more on, if you wanted a creative project related to writing or singing, this would be a great time for it, especially when you combine it with that planning stage. Writing out your plans or writing down what you want to do or using writing in some form to plan out what you're doing would be a great benefit to you right now. That Venus and Taurus conjunct Mercury energy is really, really powerful for writing it all down, getting all your thoughts out, and planning everything around it. This also works as a great opportunity for marketing your artistic endeavors if you're so inclined. If you're somebody who tries to sell their work in any form, this would be a great time to sort of work on marketing yourself as your worth. Artists have a tendency to sort of undervalue and undersell themselves, so Taurus is also something that wants to focus on the material value of things. Venus being sort of your emotional and physical values, Taurus being the more physical side of it. And with the combination of Mercury and the Venusian arts combination, if you want to sell your work in some way, like if you are an artist or you're a writer, you're a singer, whatever it is you want to do to market yourself, whatever project it is you have going on, creative marketing is the way to go right now. And remember, let that Taurus fixed earth energy help you to know your worth and charge for it. Don't back down from your value. If somebody doesn't want to pay you enough, there will always be other people willing to pay you what you're actually worth. So as a full moon summary, this is a great time to really get deep into that project that you started at the Aries new moon. Keep on pushing, go with the flow because the current's going to be too strong to really try to diverge anyway. Just stick with it and you will be okay. And for artists, charge your worth. Know that you're worth charging an actual living wage and go for it. Market yourself, even if it's just putting yourself out there on social media. This is the time. Now I get to close my notes. You couldn't see the laptop, but I did in fact close the laptop there. So that is my moon summary for the April moons, the new and full moon. if there's anything you want me to like add to this, if there's other things you want to see in relation to this. I know some people do like a tarot pull at the new and full moons when they do videos on them, so if that would be something you'd want to include, let me know. If you want more astrological content, you know, let me know that too. Let me know in the comments. I really want to know if this is sort of a direction you guys want me to go more towards, because it's something I feel really passionate about and I really enjoy it. Also, I want to say a special thanks to my friend Kapt, who helped me to look over my notes for this, just so that I could feel fully prepared. I'm going to link to his social media because I think he's pretty wonderful, and he is an excellent astrologer. I really enjoy his guidance on this. So yeah, that's it for this week. I'll see you guys next time. Oh! I have social media too, haha, yeah. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram. I have a Patreon if you want to connect with me there. I will also include a written up version of this moon video, so for those of you who are my Duke level patrons, I will include the written out version of this, including the graphics, for you to be able to hold on to yourself so you can reference it a little bit more easily. And that's all I've got for you guys this week, so I'll see you next time, and blessed be!